You came with me, that's funny enough.
Really? But it's all good. But I'm just going to give it a shot anyway because I dragged the oh-so-lovely Damien over here. Because all my friends told me I should do comedy, but really I've been writing poetry since I was 15. Just sitting in the back of the room, bored in my natural science class. But then I all of a sudden became an extrovert and started going to the front. But then I'm an IT major, and now I'm working in the IT field. So you know what? Everybody says I'm supposed to be an introvert. Then I end up here on stage with Damien and with all these lovely people around here.
Oh yeah.
Woo! Woohoo! Out! And then all of a sudden you just end up sitting in a room. You could be among anybody you want. And then all of a sudden you're just playing Super Smash Brothers. And then Wave Dash Wednesday, but how do you go about doing all of that? And then you just end up wanting to become Sonic the Hedgehog and putting on all this radio music. But then you just end up hearing all these overplayed songs. Like, you know, if I ever hear Bastille and One Direction and Katy Perry and Counting Stars ever again when I'm driving to work, I swear, the radio shouldn't play all this overplayed stuff. They should just play music that everybody decides to appreciate. And then eventually, you end up watching Wheel of Fortune, and then you end up like that poor guy from Indiana who ends up getting all the letters on the puzzle, and all of a sudden, mythological hero Achilles? I mean, poor guy! He would have gotten the $1 million wedge too, and then he ended up later losing a car and somehow still winning. Oh, and by the way, just so you all know, I lost the game, so I hope you enjoyed that. Yeah, I still play, you know. And then even, I was one time just driving randomly to a Chinese buffet, and then I seriously saw Mario just sitting outside, just waving his little sign. But actually he was advertising a laundromat, but I was just with two of my crazy friends just randomly wanting to go to a Chinese buffet. And you know, we were just randomly in the middle of Forest Park, just driving, and all of a sudden, look, Chinese buffet! Just like you point out a squirrel in the middle of the sidewalk. You know, so then you end up going to a Chinese buffet, just me and this other white guy and this transgender curly-haired blonde white guy, and a bunch of Mexicans just sitting in a Chinese buffet. But you know, you expect Asian people in a Chinese buffet, but I guess you could find anybody in there. But the food tasted pretty good too, you know. But then anyways, you wish you were in a video game just eating all the Chinese food. And then you mysteriously end up just wanting to go live action role playing. It's a fun game, just you should try it. And then you could just whack people with foam swords. That's all it really is. But anybody can get their own crazy perceptions of it. You know, they can think, oh look, here's a bat. Oh look, here's a shield. Everybody's so nerdy, and it's just a huge orgy with everybody just wanting to get into their tents, just having a crazy dandy old time. But you know,
holy shit.
and then, you know, yes, and then you just end up, yes. If you want me to do poetry, I can do that much better.
I thought that was pretty good.
Poetry. That's much better. Cool. This one, this awesomeness that will sound much better, is called progression. And yes, I really have been writing poetry since I'm 15. So enjoy the awesomeness. Woo! Do you ever have that moment where you feel like you have endless amounts to say, but nowhere to expel the information? What do you do with all that information overload when all you want to do is just turn off and just push the off button? And then you either decide to mix everything into some kind of a melting pot that we humans call art. Or we just take everything that's been locked inside for how long and put it in a bottle and just torp it away. And then at some point, we feel like our brain is going to explode, and then we just end up rambling and talking, and then all we want to do is just have somebody listen for once to the words that we want to say. Because what you've really done lately is just waste your time with a bunch of crappy people in your life who just all they want to do is just suck all of your resources out of you, and they just want to take all of your money and just be some kind of leech only to get some benefit for themselves. And then you're in a world where everybody just selfishly cares about themselves, and then the media takes up all of their energy just sucking negative. Oh look, by the way, it's snowing in April. Cool. It's almost May, but it's supposed to be spring. But can't we just be positive for once and not talk about that murder scene and just instead talk about somebody donating $1 million to charity? And then all we want to do is just help the greater good, but it seems that everybody just has an ulterior motive in mind. But, we all want to make a difference, but we can't read people's minds and we can't force people to be something they're not. But then if you reach a point where you feel discomfort, then if you want to stand up for yourself, people might say it's not that hard. But it is, trust me, I've been there before. And then if you want to act on impulse, it's a lot easier to talk than it is to actually act upon your words, because people just like to do whatever, but then they say something and they don't actually do it. So then everybody just thinks there's some kind of shady freak or whatever. And then all of a sudden you just wake up one day and realize, what have I been doing my whole life? I don't want to be stagnant. I just want to make a difference and create some change in the world. But then you crave progression and you have the strongest desires to avoid the twisted loop. And then you don't want to rip yourself apart and you just want to tear yourself from that painful grip. And it's time to go for what you're fighting for. Justice and everything positive in life. And then of course, you need that partner in crime to achieve your fullest potential. But what if you've been single for X number of years? You just want to keep going with all the support system that you have. And sometimes if you're stubborn and think that you can do everything yourself, you can't, because you need a friend, you need love, you need somebody, you need that one person you can just gravitate towards and just go swiftly on into the night, just look at that pink sunset and sky. And then, no matter what the situation is, if it's crappy, good, great, amazing, bad, sad, whatever, just always find a way to keep going. There's always something positive to say, even if it is randomly snowing in April. But quitting isn't the answer, neither is letting yourself fall into a hole and get game over. But, you just need to create your own journey of success, because success isn't just mooching off of other people, or just taking the easy way. You just need to follow everything and just go for life. Just run into the great beyond like Sonic the Hedgehog. Just go for it. You deserve it. Thanks. Enjoy the awesomeness, Joe.